But today I get to have as my final guest on the program while we're live.
Yeah, that's our
none other than Caron, and we are live, just so you know.
No,
Yes.
that's not ours.
And
It's great to be with you. Thank you.
we've seen each other what 3-4 times
Yeah.
today so far.
We have.
Sorry, yeah.
Back and forth, I'm covering the big hall, and then
Yeah.
here.
It's been a long day, but a great day,
I
hasn't
know
it?
we're both tired,
Yeah.
but it's a good day. We're tired because we've been busy.
You've saved the best for last.
I like to believe that. Thank you for that. Give me $5 later.
Because we're switched on.
Oh yeah. And speaking of that, Switched On, by the way, for everyone to know, is your book.
Yeah, switched on. The heart and mind of a special agent.
And that actually leads me to my first question. For those who may not be, I know you've been on Fox News and some of the other news media, the cable news networks, but for those who may not have seen you, may not have heard of you.
Sure, yeah.
Who is, I know you're a twin.
Yeah.
So I do want to get that in, and that's something unique in and of itself.
Yeah.
But let's start with, who is Eric Caron?
Yeah, thank you. So, I am one of 7 children. And my dad was a shoe shine boy in the 1940s.
Wow.
And he went to work at 8 years old. And his mom, he lost his dad young and to a heart disease. And he had to go to work at 8 years old. And he did that for a bunch of years. And then he joined the Marine Corps. And he went on. I'm sorry?
Hoorah.
Yes, sir. And it's funny. I never joined the Marines, although I'm sure my dad probably wanted me to. But I'd like to think, as a son of a Marine Corps soldier, once I was a Marine by way of him, right? So. He's a Marine, came back from Korea, and had 7 kids. I'm one of 7. I had a twin brother, and he taught me early on in life what it means to be switched on.
And now you brought that up again, and I want to address that. And I do want to talk about your work as a special agent,
Yeah.
and just some of the places you've been all over the
Yes,
world,
sir.
which is an application, I believe, of the thought of being switched on.
Right.
But obviously, we first have to define what is switched on. What do you mean by that when you're saying that?
So switched on is seeing where you're going in life, even in darkness.
Now, when we said that earlier, and I know you mentioned it to me, a lot of people are going to think instantly, the first thing that comes to their mind, well, dark as in dark night, light is out, but there's a little bit more to it.
Absolutely.
Meaning more than just the physical.
Absolutely. Mental as well. When we're in darkness over a death of a loved one, we're in darkness over struggles of life, we need to be switched on. Or you could get to that dark side and stay there. And as well as our security, we need to be switched on. And again, knowing where you're going, even in darkness. If you're switched on, you'll be able to escape a problem. And so I've learned the basic principles of being switched on. There's 3 of them that we all need, because it's like a tripod, balance. So may I share the 3 principles with you? So the first one is strengthen the mind through education. It's a ticket. It's your ticket to life's party. So you need to strengthen that mind. We all do. Strengthen the soul through faith. You're going to need it on those dark days of life, when evil is all around us and despair is all around us. You better strengthen the soul through faith. You're going to need it. And strengthen the body through the C philosophy: sleep, eat, and exercise. And with those 3 principles, it helps form the foundation of being switched on. Everything else stems from that foundation. Just like a home, you need that foundation to be solid. So with those 3 principles, then you exercise the mind, because it's the most important muscle. I know it's not technically a muscle, but I refer to it as a muscle, your brain. So it's not a punch, it's not your biceps, triceps, it's not your front kick. It's exercising here, your mind. And everything stems from the mind. So if you train the mind, the body will follow. If you don't train the mind, you die, potentially.
Now, let's talk about, and I agree, absolutely, especially in the mind. I think too many of our youth, actually most people, don't think of it in that sense of how important it is to think through things, to strategize. A lot of people haven't been in situations in their day-to-day lives, and thank goodness that they've never had to deal with some of the anxieties that are out there. I've lived in Moscow and went through the coup attempt. I was in Tbilisi. I went through the Civil War there. I was in California during one of the earthquakes, which is very much along the lines of what you've gone through.
Yeah.
You've been fighting terrorism.
Yeah.
You've been around the world. Tell me,
Afghanistan.
when you've been applying that switched on way of life, where are some of the places where that has been critical, that application?
Yeah, I mean, I served in the Middle East. I was in Dubai and Afghanistan. And, you're always, as an agent, you always are reading people, right? Friend or foe. And that's the thing we don't know. Locally, in our personal life, in our president as well, always assessing the situation, always assessing a person. Especially if someone who we don't know that stops you on the street. Is he a friend or is he a foe?
Especially in a foreign relation, where you don't have a lot of things that may key off because you speak the same language, or because we know people in the South or in the North or California, we know how they're going to generally ask.
Identifying potential problems sooner rather than later is key. If you're switched on. Because if you're not switched on, you're going to be oblivious. Yeah, you're going to get hurt. And so you want to identify a potential issue, problem, avoid it, escape. And if you fail to avoid and escape, you might have to fight. And I just talked briefly about a strike to the computer. If you have to fight on the street and escape, fight and escape, fight and escape. It's a last resort. And you hope you never have to, but as you know and I know, there are bad guys out there.
Yes, there are.
Some women, but mostly bad guys.
Generally, if we're talking the average.
That's right.
In the season. Yeah.
So, and the number one technique that bad guys use into me, is this:
just how they're speaking to you,
chatting you up. So what the chat does to you is distract you, like a good salesman.
Yeah.
And so most attacks, pick up a newspaper today, tomorrow, next week, most attacks on the street, prior to the attack, is a person stopping the person, stops you, that's number one, engages in conversation,
pulls you in place now,
and then attacks.
And we can see how that happens with many of the IED bombings or the suicide bombers in many parts of the world.
Yes.
Where it's because they're stopping the crowd, or engaging with people,
yes,
or causing a scene, which people will then turn, stop, come look at. Yeah.
They win your trust.
Yeah.
And so people say, well, I don't want to live in fear. And I'm here to say, I'm here to give you empowerment. I want to empower you with the book Switched On, The Heart and Mind of a Special Agent. I want you to go out and enjoy your life, but to be safe. And too many people become victims when they don't have to.
Yes.
And so I just think that it's important that we all understand that there are criminals out there who will prey on soft targets. They don't want to get caught. So what I tell kids and adults, we have a room of 10 people. Harden yourself. How do you harden yourself? Because the bad guy, he's looking for a soft target.
That brings up a very interesting thought I want to ask about. But first, I
Yep.
want to see your book. I want to show everybody just to make sure we got that on camera for everyone. So, and they can get a copy of this.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to be reviewing it as well, so you can look for that.
I'm going to give you a
as well,
signed
folks.
copy. That's not signed.
Yeah.
I'm going to sign it for
I
you.
like that. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
But you've mentioned something that, and I've been mentioning it today a couple of times,
Yeah.
and it's because it's very true. I'm a very big advocate of the Second Amendment, and I think it's one of the key things, not only for our freedom, but for protecting ourselves. And you're mentioning the same theme of being able to protect ourselves. In the case of, let's say, a mass shooting.
Yeah.
And one of the first things, I know we may have a discussion about whether we should or shouldn't have the gun, but I think in looking and applying what you're saying about being switched on, to harden the target to be aware
Yes.
that something may be happening in that environment, where whether it's a school or otherwise, and be prepared. And that's the first thing, because usually in these mass shootings, we find people are so disoriented that first minute is the most deadly, when no one knows what's going on.
That's right.
No one knows who to look at. Is that one of the things
Yes.
that motivated you in writing the book?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I wrote the book. The other reason I wrote it was to give people out on the street a glimpse of what it's like to be a law enforcement officer. What is it like to be an agent? The true story, the good and the bad. And it's challenging. I mean, you're working 24 hours a day some days on the cases, and then you got to go home and
It's going to be hard for the family life.
see the wife and kids, and maybe you're involved in a child porn operation.
That's got to be devastating too. And I know you've done work like
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
How do you? We got to ask how when you come home. I mean, it's hard to. We all try to separate work and family life, and almost always we carry a little bit of that over.
Yes.
When you're dealing with something like that, so sensitive.
Yes.
How does your family?
It's tough. You know what? You need a good, stable home life, a good partner, a good, and again, you need faith. You need to know when to shut it off and not be switched on, because it's just not practical to always be switched on, right? And so we need quiet time, if you will.
Downtime of some sort.
And it could be it could be going on a hike, it could be going on a boat. I got to get away, and I've done it. I go away for days and just escape, if you will, from all that I've experienced in my life. And it's important to recharge our batteries, and so I've done that. But it's about balance.
And that's what the book is. It's
Yeah.
that balance of the good days, and you've got it right, and the days where not quite so much.
I share
in
that.
book.
It is. I mean, I talk about my own struggles with PTSD.
That's a big, I have to commend you, because it's a very difficult thing to talk about. My father, a Vietnam vet, couldn't talk with me, and I'm a Marine as well, and we couldn't have that conversation. It was
Yeah.
too much for him. And I know many other vets who are friends of mine from over and just in those recent incursions, and sometimes they can't. So I want to commend you for
Yeah,
that. I know it's a tough
thank you.
thing.
It is. It was, but I did it not just for myself, because it was a little self-help for me. Because I tell you, it was some painful days writing this book. Sitting down at the computer, reliving, a case I was involved in where the undercover agent got shot and paralyzed. Reliving some other dangerous cases that I was involved in. And the frustration of prosecuting cases where bad guys are not prosecuted, and you know that this is a bad guy. You've chased him for a year. You've built a case, only to be told that you need more evidence, and we're not going to prosecute. But I've been chasing this guy for a year. I've missed birthday parties. I've missed my kids' parties and birthdays and etc. Weddings. And that frustration builds. And so, yeah, the number one cause of death for law enforcement officers in America, you know what it is?
Heart attack?
Suicide.
Yes, that's right. I have seen that once before. Yes.
The number one cause of death in America for law enforcement officers is because we're giving them shiny uniforms and shiny cars, but we're not preparing their minds and their souls properly, and we're not giving them the help they need. Any local police department here in Maryland or DC, do they have a 24-hour wellness program where they can get a hold of a psychiatrist, a psychologist? Do they have a nutritional program where, hey, I'm going to get a nutritionist in here to teach us how to eat properly? No. I mean, how about the family? How about the partner? Because that partner is the person more likely than anybody to see issues.
Front line for that.
But are there any services for that partner? Very little. So law enforcement officers need our help, and they're suffering. Because just think about this for a second. They're willing to die for you and for me, for people they don't even know. They're going to risk their lives, and some do, and get killed because they take an oath to serve their country and protect its citizens. They die for you and me. We better pony up some money and provide them the best services to protect their minds, because we're not doing that.
Well, then I have to ask you, and I hope it's happened, but I want to make sure. Because CPAC, we've had so many. I've seen Representative Lauderman, Representative Jim Jordan is here. We've had just a dozen or two of the representatives here, and they having had a chance to speak with them, to encourage them to think of that aspect of being able to improve the quality of lives for our law enforcement, for their families, and how has their response been to you?
Well, it's a good question. I know I'm associated with an organization called Blue H.E.L.P.
Blue H.E.L.P. Okay.
And they track every day suicides. I mean, this is you can Google it right now, but I think the number is probably around 39, 40 deaths already this year.
It's too high because it's not necessary. People can get help, and I do want to mention, please look for help.
Yes.
Reach out.
You don't struggle in silence. I mean, I did. I struggled and didn't get the help I needed. But with my family around me and God, I was able to come back.
And that's important.
Yeah.
And that's why we're here.
Yeah.
To reach out and make sure people know that they can. And the book goes into that.
It does.
And addresses some of them.
Yeah.
And I think that's an important thing, because we don't hear it enough. We don't hear someone explaining, here's the reality. And I think that's one of the most important things. To know this is real. It's not a movie. It's not for politics. This is life.
Yeah.
And we can help each other with that, especially those on the front line.
That's right.
They need it so much.
That's right. And and too many officers go to the dark side, local, state, feds. And I think if we had the services, we would have caught corruption. How the stress level that they're going through every day is tremendous. So when they stop your mother, your father, they're ready to go, and they need. I think if we had better services provided to them, they'll be able to. The quality of service to the general public will increase that much better, if you know what I mean.
Right.
But they're so stressed out for the most part, overworked, underpaid, that they just want to make it through the 8-hour shift.
Right. And just get done.
And get home. Chicago alone.
Oh, worst city.
July from 16, 17, 18, over 2,000 deaths that we know of. 2,000 just in Chicago. And imagine being a police officer there every night. Every night. I'm once an agent, always an agent.
Yeah.
So I'll listen to Chicago PD. and it's shots fired.
Well,
Shots fired.
they've already done, I believe the number was over 187 shootings, and this is 2 weeks old by Chicago Tribune, who keep a track of this weekly.
Yeah.
I believe it was 2 weeks ago. We were at 187 shootings with, I believe it was 25 murders so far this year, and this isn't a slow year. And it's not even a peak year. It's like this is an average year, which is incredible stress.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why we need to address this.
We do. And the service that they will provide will be that much better if we give them the tools they need in their tool belt to protect us.
I want to mention, and I know we only have a couple of minutes, about 4 minutes, but I do want to mention, so you mentioned the Blue H.E.L.P. And for those who are looking at this maybe because they have family members or themselves that are interested in it, where is it BlueH.com?
Yeah, BlueH.com, and they help train police departments around the country. They provide them the tools and training for the police departments. They're doing conferences here in Washington as well, and in Chicago. I'm helping sponsor that, one of the conferences in Chicago. And, you know, it's a great organization. And, you know, they're trying to get the law enforcement memorial in Washington to recognize these officers' names on the wall, because right now those officers are forgotten. And so they're advocates for not just for law enforcement, men and women in blue, but for the family. They're there for the wives to pick up the pieces when their husband puts a bullet in their head.
Take care of what I call the law enforcement community.
Yes.
All aspects.
Yes.
From beginning to end.
Yes.
I think that's incredible. I'm glad that we can mention this for the group and that people know that they can reach out to that.
Yeah, reach out to Blue H.E.L.P.
And I do want to mention again about your book.
Yes.
And again, I'm going to show it again. I want to make sure people see it again, just to make sure that you guys can see it there, so I know what to look for.
Thank you.
You know, it never hurts to say.
Yeah, thank you.
Take a look at it, because I think everything we've talked about are important things, whether you're in law enforcement, know someone, or just in your own personal life.
Yes.
You never know when knowing how to switch on and knowing when to switch off.
Yes.
Just knowing that can sometimes help a lot of people.
It does.
And I want to look forward to, I want to follow up with you.
Thank you.
After CPAC, let's go.
Yeah, definitely.
And see how, especially what's going on in Chicago, because I don't think it gets reported enough. We just don't hear about it. People have gotten so used to it.
That's right.
And no one's paying attention. Let's change that.
I agree.
Because making people more aware.
It's unacceptable.
Yeah. And the more we make people aware, the better it is for everyone.
Yeah.
Because when you put the spotlight on something, when you're switched on,
Yep.
you can address the problem.
Absolutely.
If you're in the dark, you can't.
There you go. Amen. Appreciate it.
But I do want to also mention, is there anything else, like a minute or so?
Yeah.
Anything else I can mention?
You know, I have a website called Switched On Life. Switched On Life. And not only can you buy the book, but there's good information that's available free of charge about how to stay safe, how to protect our children, how to protect our children from predators, how to protect ourselves when we're out and about as well. So there's a lot of good information on the website too.
Good life lessons, good lessons, just good
Tips
to help us all out.
That's right.
That's a great thing. So I'm glad we can include that as well. Eric, Caron.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I love our law enforcement. I love people who've gone on the line and stood up for us all, and I appreciate and I thank you for that.
Yeah,
And
thank
I
you.
Thank you for making awareness about this very important issue.
Thank you for having me.